Okay, still on the same heading, coming up a little bit closer to the lake bed. That means that, and there we go. There's Tonopah Test Range right up there, or the airfield at TTR right up there, and you can see it coming in. I'll make a quick overflight of that, and then come back down the ridge, and then we'll get back into range 75 and 76. And let's see, looking at landmarks, we're going to have this ridge. That means that Beatty, Nevada is like right out here. And I'm going to pick up the road. I think it's Highway 95. I'll check once I get a little bit closer. Pick up the road, and then I'll follow the ridge back around to Indian Springs, and then finally back down to Vegas and Nellis Air Force Base, which is out there over the horizon. So, okay, coming up on Tonopah now. I'll be right back. Okay, coming over Tonopah now, and this is one that I really hope they add at some point because there's a lot of history here. The Constant Peck program flew out of here from about 79 to 88, and the hangars up there to the south. And the F-117s flew out of these hangars down here close to us on the other side of the runway from about 82, 83, I'd have to go back and check the dates, until 91 or 92. So I'll have some photos or something scrolling by here, and some good recommendations for books if you're interested in the video description. Yeah, very, very neat area. Now, so we're heading down to Steer Point 5, right out here in front of us. 10 degrees, 7.5 miles, right there. That's a little bit off, isn't it? Okay, I'll clean that up. Well, actually, this is the only time I'm going to fly this mission, so I'm not going to clean up any of the steer points. That means that the Stonewall Peak or Stonewall Mountain is right out there. That's the western extent of the range, so I'm going to fly straight ahead, and then we'll start to employ some weapons on some really cool targets that are on the range in front of us, and then look at the Nevada test site. So I'll be right back. Okay, coming back with you a few minutes later, same heading. I have Mount Helen, another, looks like it's going to be a very good landmark for us right down below me. I have Tolicha Peak right out in front of me. That's part of an electronic combat range. And let me see, and then everything between me and there is bombable targets, including this. This is what I was looking for. Okay, airfield right here, and then other side, another airfield just sort of scratching into the dirt. Down here somewhere, I'm going to have, oh, just all sorts of stuff. You name it. I mean, it's just, you'll be able to tell when you're in the mission editor where to put targets out here. Just look for the little, places like this. Just little places that look like they don't fit. That's where you want to put your stuff that you can bomb, and the targets are going to run basically from, that's Stonewall Mountain right there, that's the western extent, then anything basically from here all the way back to Lamb Pond on the other side of the ridge. That's where I bombed that first target at. Yeah, go to town, just wherever you see an appropriate place, that's where you would want to put stuff. Okay, now let me see here. I was going to bomb some stuff out here. Let me pull my I still got BD-33s called up in CCIP. Titanium tetrachloride. That's the term I was looking for the spotting charge in a BD-33. So, yeah, let me roll in. I'll put a couple of bombs on some targets out here. And there should be, I know somewhere out here, or in several places, there are the little SA-2 sites, Star of David, that you'll be able to see on the ground. But I can't really pick them out from this altitude. I think once we get down lower, we'll be able to see some more stuff like that. So, okay, let me roll in here. I'll put a bomb sort of along this little heading right here. Just along, I guess this would be sort of like a aircraft revetment right there.
Pull up.
I'll come along here, 2 more revetments. Not very good, but then again, I don't really have anything to aim at out here yet. And doggone it, I pulled too hard again. Got that confounded G-Red thing. But, yeah, this is just having fun. And imagine doing this as part of a red flag or something when you've got aircraft coming after you, a threat aircraft, you have all kinds of threat systems around you. And, yeah, it would be a very, very different situation. But let me see here. Thinking about that sort of situation, now that it's on my mind. So, yeah, so we ingress into this target area from the direction that we came. So what would happen here is that you would have aggressor aircraft holding out here defending the target. Now, there are only so many aggressor aircraft to go around. So what would happen is if you were coming in here and you got a kill on one of the red aircraft, they would just fly up to just basically like a little spawn point, reset area, respawn, and then come back around. Same thing for blue aircraft. If I had, for example, gotten taken out as I was coming in here to the target area, I would go back out to the spawn point, turn back around, and come back in. So, just all kinds of ways to set that up in a multiplayer environment if you're, looking for ideas on how to set up the situation or how to set up the range for that. Now, let me roll in on this target right here, and incidentally, both of these airfields, I know the one that I was just on, the one up here, is designed to sort of mimic an East German airfield. Terrible pass right there, but I was kind of occupied. Got to give me credit sometimes here. But yeah, that's set up to mimic an East German airfield. I can't remember the name. This one, I would imagine, is too. I couldn't find any information as I was poking around on this as far as what this is supposed to represent, but it's a fair bet that, anything that you see out here is intended to mimic, something as close to reality as possible. Now, also in these areas, we're going to have, it could be convoys. There might just be, a good idea would be to have like a row of trucks or a row of tanks along the roads, sort of like this. You could set up areas that are set up to mimic like urban combat areas. This would be a good spot right here, and I can see down there that might be actually what this is, with the connexes intended to be like buildings and representing, roadways in a town. But just so many possibilities out here, and I'll roll in. I'll make this a better pass. How many BD-33s do I have? In fact, I'm out of BD-33s. But yeah, anyway, that's how things would go here. And yeah, the possibilities for doing stuff out here are endless. And you don't have to play it as if you're on the real Nevada Test and Training Range. There's all sorts of hypothetical situations you can set up. So let me take it back out here. I'll overfly Talicha Peak, and then we'll head out over the Nevada test site, have a look at some stuff out there, overfly Creech, and head back to Nellis. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so coming up here, flying more or less due south, and about to turn left over Talicha Peak. Looking out here in the distance, Death Valley is actually right there, so that's someplace I'm going to hit that, Hoover Dam, and the Grand Canyon just in a separate tour. Eventually, at least. Maybe not today, but yeah, I'll get to that eventually. Now, let me turn left over Talicha Peak. We'll head out of here over the Nevada test site. That means if this is Talicha, then this or this is Black Mountain. Let's see. Let me get established on... Okay, let me step through the next waypoint. Okay, French Peak. Right out here in front of us. Okay, so that means that we're overflying Black Mountain right here below us. This would be the Paiute Mesa that we're approaching right now, and yeah, we're definitely getting into the Nevada test site area. Now, as features start to occur to me out here, I was reading a Department of Energy history on the Nevada test site. None of this stuff that I'm going over is anywhere near being classified. It's all out of books. Incidentally, it's easy to find information out here. I mean, you just have to remember that not all of it is Air Force property, so searching Air Force type sites for information is not always the way to go. Like for example, Nevada test site, look for Department of Energy histories on the Nevada test site. If you're curious about landmarks, Bureau of Land Management or USGS, that's where you would get information about what's where. And if you're looking for information about specific ranges, I mean, you have environmental reports. This stuff is subject to U.S. law, so check out the environmental reports that are out there, and you can see it's just neat to read. You see information about the geology, the wildlife in the area, and well, you get to learn about the ranges and see what all's out here. Now, let me see. That means that if we're going straight at French Peak, okay, Paiute Mesa is right below us, and we're going to start to get into areas like this, so we can see the Paiute Mesa nuclear shots right there and the craters that were left. I'm going to come up here and you see, I want to look for, there's one up here, it's called Schooner Crater. It's where a lot of the Apollo astronauts went to train for, looking for analogs on Earth to what a crater would look like, with the ejecta, the more or less the same type of sort of basaltic ejecta. I know I'm getting into the what the heck is this guy talking about stuff right now, but I want to look for it up here. It's right up here past, I believe, this side. I'll be right back when I find it. Okay, found it. That's Schooner Crater right there, and it was further back up here to the northwest, back towards... I'm actually flying the opposite direction I was heading when I broke off. Like, there's Mount Helen, there's Antelope Peak up there, and let's see, Chalicha is back here. And that means that the airfields that I was just on are right there and right there. Yeah, it's a little bit indistinct as you're further away, but yeah, anyway, Schooner Crater, let me make a pass on this, and I'll show some photos on this as well. And they made some trips out here to several different locations. Schooner Crater was one, Sedan Crater was another one, but basically just a kind of a shallow underground nuclear detonation. And you can see the crater that was left right there, and of course the access road coming up to it. And yeah, I think that there are some photos. The one I'm thinking about is showing some of the guys with a lunar module doing some training right here. And I mean, a lot of people worry about, or I guess joke about, or just don't know any better and say, well, you don't want to fly over this area because of radioactivity, and that's just really kind of not how it works. In fact, you can get tours. You can go out here on a tour. They do monthly tours out of the, what's the museum called? It's a museum in Las Vegas that does a monthly tour out here. You have to register beforehand and go through a security check, but it's no big deal. Well, unless you're like a criminal or something, then I wouldn't bother, but yeah, I mean, as long as you don't like live out here, the radiation is no sweat at all. So let's see, I'll continue back up here to French Peak. We'll have a peek into, so to speak, some of the other Nevada test site locations. I'll have some more ranges to go over, and then we'll head back to Nellis. I've been up here for, I don't know how long I've been flying, but boy, there's a lot to see out here on the Nevada Test and Training Range. I'll be right back. Okay, back with you, doing some more flying out here over the Paiute Mesa and the Nevada test site. I'm heading straight just for orientation right here, so I and everybody else can follow where I'm at. I'm heading straight back towards Groom Lake, which you can see just behind the little ridge right there. And coming up on, yeah, I wanted to check this out. There's Sedan Crater, and you can see all the other craters out here in the Yucca Flats. There's the Yucca Dry Lake right there. And I was talking about histories that you can go to get real information about this, not just made up nonsense you see on the internet. You can actually go into the DOE histories on the area and figure out exactly what each crater is. I mean, they have it marked off and it's explained basically what each crater is, what the yield was, what they were testing. And Sedan Crater was just a little bit over 100 kilotons. It was buried shallow just so they could see, among other things, what the effect of a detonation would be as far as excavating big amounts of dirt. As you can see, this is a sizable crater. I'll go down here and overfly it, in fact, so we can see exactly how it is. I'll do a helicopter tour of the Nevada test site as well at some point as we get going, but yeah, I just wanted to come down here and check this one out specifically. Now, let me see, thinking about other landmarks, of course, there's Groom Lake right there. There's, let me see, Lamb Lake. That first target that I bombed, it was right back there behind us, and then looking out there to the right, we get down into Yucca Flats, Highway 95, Creech Air Force Base. There's Charleston Peak right there, and the ridge we can see right there is Sheep Range. That's where we started. That's the Sally Corridor and the range, or the ridge, that we took initially. Now let me dip down here. This will be fun to go through in a helicopter and see all this stuff. And yeah, like I said, I mean, yeah, it is radioactive, but it's not a big deal. You can come out here right to the right there, there's the viewing stand you would come out and go to if you were on a tour. So this thing is like extremely deep. I'll have some photos of this as well as we go, but yeah, this is just a very, very, very neat area if you're just into this sort of thing and into the history of some of these places. So I'm going to continue out here over the flats, take a left-hand turn, and get into the remaining ranges. We still have ranges to bomb, so I'll be right back.